need my water. Can't forget water. Hello you guys and welcome to my channel. I'm so excited to have you here. So in today's video, we are going to be throwing it back. Throwing it back. I can't even be serious with that. Hello you guys and welcome to my channel. I'm so excited to have you here. So in today's video, we are going to be taking it back to one of the first ever series I started here on my channel, and that is an MLM horror story. So since I have not posted in a couple of weeks, life's been wild, but I felt like the way to get back into the swing of filming, editing, uploading is by doing an OG style video of mine, which would be the MLM horror stories. So I had a couple sent to me, so let's read them. Also, you would like to send me your MLM horror story or MLM scam story or scam story. Say you got scammed by an influencer or anything like that. I also do read those stories. Feel free to email me them in the email that I have down below. Do I have something in my tooth? I do. I did that whole intro with something in my teeth. No. I'm back and I no longer have anything in my teeth. So let's get into it. So the first MLM horror story that we have is actually about, I believe, a fitness MLM. I don't remember which one it was, but we will see as we read. Hello, Deanna. I've only recently gotten to your content, but for about 5 years now, I've been extremely anti-MLM, mostly due to my mom being a part of one for about 2 years. I apologize. This will be long, and never apologize. They can be long. When I was in middle school, I started to notice my mom being more into health and conspiracy theories. This started to really become an issue when she decided I had an allergy to gluten that I didn't. I have an allergy to gluten. Then comes along Beachbody. I would already consider my mom susceptible to the cult-like practices because of her mental health and her poor relationships with others. But this MLM definitely took her full force. She connected to all the ideas of making money from home. As a stay-at-home mom, the encouragement of using home remedies and supplement products over going to the doctor, and of course becoming healthy. At first, it wasn't that big of a deal, but when I started my freshman year of high school, it became more and more prevalent in my life. She would consistently encourage me and everyone around me to do Beachbody and listen to her health advice. Of course, much of this advice was pretty harmful considering the history of Beachbody and using programs to replace the instruction of medical health professionals, like with the gut health programs. This was also the type of people she surrounded herself with. The best examples of her using Beachbody to promote health in toxic ways was targeting me, my siblings, and her husband for the way we are or how much we exercise. Furthermore, I was really struggling with bad periods and mental health at the time, and her constantly telling me that I just needed to follow a program like Beachbody to make it all better, and I was doing it to myself because I wasn't willing to do it. In reality, I was super depressed and had PCOS, and many of my mental health struggles were because of the way she pushed Beachbody's ideals and toxic ideas about food onto me. This was also happening during quarantine, which amplified these problems. Oh, I'm so sorry. After me and my siblings were able to go back to school, Beachbody did start to fade away from our lives. I know she doesn't coach anymore, but she never talked about why she quit. I think it was because, she became pregnant, wasn't keeping up with promoting it, and started to realize she was losing money. While I'm super grateful that she quit, the ideas that Beachbody promoted stays, especially the food aspect, to the point that eventually getting professional help with my mental health and PCOS was extremely difficult and scary. And while I've moved out and distanced myself from her, I still feel she is quite vulnerable to falling into another MLM scheme and possibly a cult. And she is definitely an almond mom. Here is a snippet of one of her old posts. And here's the post. It says, I can't take it anymore. Day after day, people tell me I know what I should be doing, but I'm just not doing it. I just need to find the motivation to get myself started. I don't have the time. And I'm over it. I can't listen to one more person excuse themselves for doing what it takes to live a healthy life. I officially resign. I'm throwing in the towel. As of January 1st, 2020, I'm done. I'm 100% done letting anyone not show up for themselves, done letting people regret not taking control of their health, done watching people make excuses instead of finding ways. If you've been sitting on the sideline watching, now is the time to get in the game. When are you going to get over the excuse of not having time or motivation and realize you just have to start? What does finding motivation even mean? And are you actually pretending that one day you will wake up to 25-hour days? It's time to stop making excuses and start taking action. So the MLM horror story ends with, she then went into more detail about Beachbody and ways to live healthier, but I feel those tactics and phrases have already been covered on your channel. Thank you for listening to my story and have a great day. I first want to say I'm so sorry for what you've experienced. And I definitely agree with what you said about, while I'm super grateful she has quit, the ideas that Beachbody promoted stays, especially the food aspect. And that is very true. A lot of times you can leave MLMs like this. You still believe in a lot of the things, for example, like the food aspect or the ideals that surrounded food or working out that a company like Beachbody promoted. And it can be very detrimental to someone's mental health and physical health to be in that constant mindset of kind of what fitness MLMs represent and the type of things that they say and talk about. But I am so happy that she is out of the MLM and that hopefully, things over time will get better in that sense. And I do want to thank you for sharing your story. I know a lot of the times writing MLM horror stories, one that has impacted someone so deeply on, a mental, physical, emotional level, or even financial level is not an easy thing to share or to tell other people. But I have been told a lot of the times that writing and, writing the email, even if you don't send it to me or just like writing it down and getting it off your chest can be something that's really helpful in the process of trying to recover from any of the things that's happened from the time that you were in an MLM. So let's move on to the next MLM horror story, which is about Vetker, which is about Cutco / Vector. I guess I just wanted to mix the two names up. Let's get into it. Now, the funny thing about this is I actually just went on post. For those of you guys who do not know, I used to be in the Army and I have access to getting on military bases. So I actually went on base the other day and guess who was there? Cutco. Yep. I went in to just get, what was it? Oh, I wanted to refill our like Halloween candy because I have a little Halloween candy thing. And I seen the entire setup and I'm telling you, it was huge. And it was in like the shopping center that people would go to on base. So yeah, that was very interesting. I almost took a picture, but I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do that today. But yeah, it's interesting to see that Cutco and Vector is like one of the top MLMs that you will see actually conducting sales on military bases. So it's more likely that people who are on base are more likely to get into this MLM. So military spouses, military members themselves. So yeah, I thought that was an interesting fact or thing that happened to me within the last week. Hi, Deanna. For the sake of this story, my name is Molly. A close family member of mine recently joined Vector Marketing as a district manager in my hometown. They had been a Cutco salesperson in college, but out of all of my family members, I did not expect that they would be the one to join an MLM. They're a family member I cannot talk out of that decision with any emotion or logic. So my closeted anti-MLM self had to sit and watch as my family member would join a pyramid scheme in a position where their primary job is recruiting and training. I traveled back home to see my family recently and got to hear the other side of the Vector and Cutco interview. I got to hear the process of the interviewer. I'm remaining anonymous, but want to share what I've heard to spread awareness on what Vector and Cutco are doing in their hiring processes to entice people to join. It's especially important as my family member's primary demographic is college kids. Their office is in a college town and they're working to promote on campus to the student, which hits hard as I was pulled into Mary Kay as a college student and all it got me was a loss of $3,000. Attached is the interview process from the interviewer's side. There's also one copy with my commentary in parentheses. Please utilize whatever you want. I share this because Vector and Cutco is an MLM still going strong but not getting a lot of coverage. This is my hope that one person will see this, will not sign up for Vector / Cutco. Thank you. Your videos are the highlight of my day. Thank you. So I do agree. I agree that Cutco isn't an MLM that's talked about often. I feel like Cutco is an MLM that we don't see primarily on social media. A lot of what Cutco does is in-person stuff. So like she said, recruiting college students, going on military bases and setting up areas where they have people there and then they're showing the items and they're trying to get people reeled in. So I feel like Cutco / Vector is a company that really utilizes more of the old school style techniques of marketing where they go in person, they go door-to-door sales, they do a lot more of that stuff. So I feel like the reason they're not covered as often is because we don't see them on social media. We don't see them so heavily like we see other MLMs. Other MLMs primarily use social media as a tool. So we're constantly seeing those things. We're seeing them on the internet. We're seeing them on social media. We're seeing journalists talking about them because they're on social media and they're more prominently seen and noticed. So I will say that I completely agree with that. I do think that this MLM is not talked about as much because it doesn't have as high of a presence on social media as other MLMs do. So first, I actually want to read the Cutco interview itself. So she shows all of the questions. So clearly she went home and she got to experience what a Cutco interview would be. And she wrote down every question that they asked. So I was very interested in that. And I think it'd be something interesting for us to look at. She also does have another thing where she does all of the questions and then she gives her own commentary in parentheses. And we can also go through that. I am curious to see her commentary because I'm always curious to see other people's opinions and what they get out of something because not everyone has the same perspective or views on things. And I feel like being able to see multiple sides of something like this would be very interesting. So we will go look at those comments after. So the first question that's asked is, tell me about yourself and what you're looking for in this position. Number 2, what would you consider your ideal job situation? Number 3, what are the top 2 things that you're looking for in a job right now? Number 4, are you looking for full-time or part-time? Number 5, would you consider yourself working or in between jobs? Number 6, would you consider yourself a positive person? That's an interesting one to get, but so far all of these questions are stuff that you would see in an actual interview for an actual job. And I think that that's really the point of an MLM like this is that they do interviews and they have people believe that it's an actual company that they are joining and they're interviewing for versus an MLM company. Question 7, do you enjoy working with people? Number 8, which she said is not a question, it's a statement. It says, I want to let you know that I am interviewing other people today, but I have the freedom to bring anyone on my team that I want. So you're really only interviewing against yourself today. I'm really just trying to find the best of the best. In my opinion, that's not very true. MLM reps are going to try and get anyone in the MLM that they can. They really don't care to get the best of the best. They're just trying to get numbers, and it doesn't really matter what that person looks like or like the attributes they have or how they answer these interview questions. It's really just getting as many people on as they can. Question 9, choose one quality that makes yourself a strong candidate. Number 10, you should have gotten a video before the interview. Did you have a chance to watch it or did you have any questions about it? Number 11 is another statement and it's a long one. It says some information about training. Training is an extension of the interview. It allows us to get to know you and you to get to know us. Training is 3 days and 6 hours each day. Note, training is commonly unpaid with Vector, unlike corporate jobs, and is often done over Zoom by managers across the country and will be where you build referral skills. In this job, there's no cold calling and walking door to door to ask you to demonstrate. Social media is optional to promote the products, but not required as the tried and true methods of demonstrations in person and virtually are most effective. You're able to set your own schedule after training to work as many or as few days a week as you want. Your base pay is $25 per qualified appointment. No, I'm not certain what determines a qualified appointment, or the commission from that qualified appointment if it is more than $25. You'll need to have a laptop with a camera and high-speed internet. I'm very curious how they're saying you don't do door-to-doors anymore, you don't do cold calling, but then also in person and all of that is the best way to go about it. And then you don't have to use social media. So how are people supposed to sell this product? It really reminds me of how people present their MLM on the outside when someone's not in the MLM, they're trying to recruit you versus what the real version of being in the MLM is like. And most of the time it is that cold calling. It is the warm calling, even where you're calling your friends, you're calling your family, you're going on military bases and you're trying to talk to these people that are walking by, asking them if they want a demonstration and to look at the product. So it's interesting that they say there's no door-to-doors, there's no cold calling, you don't even have to use social media, but then it's like, how are you getting people in? Or is that just a way to get people in to make it seem easier to digest and not as scary? Because most people don't want to do something like door-to-doors or cold calling. Then when they join, is that actually the reality of it? Number 12, who are 1 to 2 people you would want to demo the products to first? Again, they say you don't have to do any of this like cold calling, whatever, but then they ask you who are 1 to 2 people you would want to demo the products to first. Question 13, if we had a position, could you start now? Well, you do have a position. You always do in an MLM. Number 14, with the right training, do you see yourself doing well in this role? Number 15 is another statement, and they say, let me tell you a little bit about myself. Insert their Cutco history here. Number 16 is another statement, and it says, in this role, I'm looking for someone who benefits customers, a people person, a listener, someone who can make others comfortable in a buying decision, fits into the company's culture, has strong customer service skills, is a hard worker, is self-determined, has a strong work ethic, is coachable, can see themselves benefiting from Vector, is able to hit their goals on a high-performing team, can keep a positive work environment, and encourages everyone to meet their goals. Does this fit you, and what do you want from this company? Number 17, another statement. I like the statements. Another statement, it says, I'm going to share quickly what stands out to me about you. You have strong positive energy, great experiences prior, and tell me if I'm wrong, you can be successful in anything you do and will seek out growth. Did I read you well in that? Interesting. Number 18 statement. I want to thank you for interviewing with me. I would like to offer you this position to join my team. Well, isn't that wild that you said you have a bunch of people that you're interviewing? You're selective in how you do it. You have to hit these certain requirements, but then you're going to offer them the position. Then you had as many spots as you wanted open, and you just want them to feel special. You want these people that you're recruiting to feel as if they were chosen out of a bunch of people, and that it's like a really hard job to get into. It's not. It's very easy because they can just ask you to join them and tell you that you can, because everyone can join. It's not that they have a limited amount of spots. Statement 19 says, great, I am enrolling and emailing you your training information to get you scheduled with your classes. Now, we need to focus on the first 10 days after training. We call them the fast start days. They're the habit building ones. Start building a brainstorming list of as many people you can share Cutco with. People with a full-time job, your family, your neighbors, other friends, people in groups like church, etc. Don't overthink it. Usually people come in with about 25 names. The fast growing people bring in 50. Our highest has been 277, just to challenge you. So this whole entire time, you've made it seem like it's a real job, that it's not, an MLM company. You've tried to say that they don't have to cold call. They don't have to do any of that door-to-door weird stuff. But then you're telling them to think of a bunch of people in church, friends, family, school. So you're essentially telling them that they do have to reach out to these people. So it's just so interesting how contradicting MLM pitches are. Statement 20 says, we won't have you call and set up appointments yet. Wait until training and then start reaching out to people. Are there any more questions I can answer for you before training? Okay, great. Before you go, I want to ask if there's anything you know that may be interested, or anyone you know that may be interested in joining this team in this role. Would you text me their names and numbers? I'll reach out to them and gauge their interest to see if they would want to apply. That's also so interesting that instead of them trying to get you to recruit them into the MLM, they then ask for your friends and family's numbers, which is very weird. No, I'm not going to give you my friends and family's phone number. And then it ends with end of interview. What they don't tell you in the interview is that you will have to buy your own knife set to showcase. It's encouraged that to sell a piece, you should show a piece. If I can get my hands on any more info, I will follow up. That this person who sent me this MLM horror story is in corporate. When they critique these questions in this interview, they're doing it more so from a corporate perspective of sort of an interview that would happen in corporate or in that type of job, because clearly people in Vector and Cutco are trying to make it out to be as if they are this huge company and something more so like corporate. So I am very curious to see this person's critique. So let's go through it. This person says, note, I am in the corporate world and hold a dreaded 9 to 5. I recognize that contract style jobs will work differently than traditional corporate settings, but there are similarities. So with question 1 that says, tell me about yourself, what you're looking for, she says, the first part of this question is standard enough. It's a good first question. But the second part is giving the interviewer insights on what the interviewee is looking for, giving them direction on what to say to entice the interviewee to want to join the company's most corporate jobs, have a defined definition of the role and what an employee who fits in their requirements of what the position is. Question 2, what would you consider your ideal job situation? And her critique was, this is a setup to meet the needs of whatever the interviewee says. For example, if they have another job and are using this as side money, the interviewer can remember that and apply it to part of their discussion later. In corporate jobs, the job situation is predetermined and is told to the interviewee, aka pay, hours, location, etc. The next question that she critiques is, would you consider yourself working or in between jobs? And the critique goes, just like the prior questions, these are not typical corporate interview questions. These are worded to get information from interviewee to present this opportunity as flexible and perfect for their needs. The interviewee can especially make the opportunity enticing if the interviewee is in between jobs. The next question, would you consider yourself a positive person? And the critique says, this sets the interviewer up to butter up and praise the interviewee towards the end of the interview. And again, an odd question to ask in non-MLM interviews. Do you enjoy working with people? Critique goes, well, considering this is a sales and recruiting position, we'd hope that the answer was yes, but this is a good opportunity for the interviewer to overcome any hesitations the interviewee has about working with people. The next question, which is actually the statement about, the interviewee trying to find someone, or the interviewer trying to find someone, that really would fit this position. And her critique is very similar to mine. So she goes, I hope we all know by now that there's no limit to the number of people MLMs allowed to be hired or recruited. While many interviewers will let the interviewee know there are others being interviewed, a standard interview is a competition against the other. While only one person or a team for say 10 plus may be hired, true hiring processes will not pick just anyone. There has to be qualifications of the people. And there are often limits due to constraints like budget, team size, office space, etc. that limit the hiring group amounts. The next question, choose one quality that makes yourself a strong candidate. And the critique is, this is a common interview question and is beneficial for the interviewee to differentiate themselves. But in the case of an MLM, this is the beginning of their why. So I can see that perspective of they're kind of trying to pull that why out of them so that during the interview, they can really reel them in because they know so much information about them now. The next statement that I found the critique to be really interesting was the statement of, let me tell you a little bit about me. And it's the Vector and Cutco person talking about them. And her critique says, it's very common for the interviewer to introduce themselves at the beginning of the interview to establish a personal connection. But in this case, learning more about the person at the end is meant to give the interviewee starry eyes, rolled color glasses as to what they can achieve if they stay in the company. And that makes a lot of sense because the interviewee does go off and say all of the things that they succeeded in and all of the people they've recruited, all the money they've made in the MLM. It's more likely to reel that person in towards the end of the interview. The next statement that she talked about or kind of critiqued on was the part where it says, I want to thank you for interviewing with me today. I would like to offer you the position. And she said, while I've only heard a few interviews, they've all been offered this role. I don't know the interviewees. They may truly be qualified, but in a non-MLM job, an immediate offer is less usual and can be seen as a red flag. It is not unseen, as I've got a few during the pandemic at frontline jobs, but jobs with a true limit of people to hire will get back to you after the interview or at the end of the second and third interview after a relationship has been established. And I agree 100%. So those were the really interesting critiques that I found this person give, and I agreed with a lot of them. I think that these interviews are very interesting. I've never got to see an actual Vector or Cutco interview before, so let me know what you guys think about that. So that is all the MLM horror stories that I am going to read today. I hope that you guys have an amazing day. I do have class today from 1 p.m. to 9 p.m. I have 3 classes and an hour of supervision on Mondays, so today is going to be a wild day. But if you made it this far, leave a sun emoji in the comments down below. It's been very sunny here. I am curious, if you don't live in a state like Florida, Georgia, Texas, which are all 3 states that I have lived in, let me know what the weather is like near y'all because I'm so curious. It's still pretty hot here. Today's weather is going to be a high of 95. So it's pretty hot still, but I am so curious if other states are having much cooler and nicer weather as it's already mid-September. But yeah, let me know how you all are doing. I want to let you know that I am doing well. I'm just really stacked with constant work, it feels like, especially Monday, having class from 1 to 9. Tuesdays, I do my internship on 2 different sites. So Tuesdays I'm gone all day. Wednesdays I have class and I see clients. So yeah, it's a lot now, hitting that next level of my schooling. So yeah, it's just another level of wildness, but something that I am definitely enjoying. So don't forget to leave me a like and a comment and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I would love for you to be here. I also will be doing a new iPhone unboxing this week over on my vlog channel. I also have been neglecting that channel for a long time. So I hope the iPhone video kind of brings back my vlogging and finally getting back to it on the vlog channel also. So that will probably probably go up on Saturday because I should have the phone delivered on Friday, but I will be at my internship site all day on Friday. So I most likely won't be able to film it that day, but I should be able to film, edit, and get it uploaded either Saturday or Sunday on the vlog channel. So I will see you guys in the next video.